Hello listeners and viewers, welcome to the commentary of my The Flaws of Fan Culture video. And to help me out, I've invited Ness Mudkip, aka Caleb. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
So I've invited him in because I'm pretty crap at these commentaries, and B, he was integral in actually with trying to come up with the idea for this video. It was sort of a sporadic idea, and do you want to explain how basically the video came about? Because you remember it more than I do, really.
Yeah. Well, we were essentially sitting in one of our Skype calls, our little group of nerds, as we do. So we were sitting around having one of our general conversations about anime, except James here, obviously, he's not really into it.
I have no idea what. They keep banging on about anime, and it's completely goes over the top of my head.
Yeah. So we're having one of our debates about it, getting quite heated often. Certain member of our group likes to do that a bit often. So we're having a bit of a heated debate. Eventually, we got talking afterwards, and I said to James, maybe one of the reasons you don't really want to get to anime is due to the fact you don't want to join a fandom.
Yeah. So he on that very very sentence, it gave me the idea. Something clicked in my head. Oh, okay. I want been meaning to do a video on anime for quite a long time now, but of course, since I haven't really watched a proper anime since early 2001, 2002 when we still had Sky and that, because I've been meaning to do a video, but because my brain, I can barely remember card captors and a bit of Pokemon and bits and pieces, so it's I want to do a video, but what exactly do I do? And because of that sentence, it made me think, oh, hang on, it sort of clicked in my mind, why I sort of, on a subconscious level, I suppose. Abstain away from anime, and this is what.
This is what came of it. Yeah.
Came of it 2 months of work. The script actually, by the time you're hearing this commentary, was finished about a month ago. It took me about a month to write the script because it was quite difficult to write this one, of course. The first half of it was anyway. The second half was a lot easier because I had a bit more knowledge of MLP, of course. But
I don't, by the way. I don't
we'll swap roles halfway through.
Yeah.
I have no idea what people are going to think of this because by the time we're recording this commentary before I've actually released a cut of this, so I don't know what people are going to think of it. Hopefully, people.
Yeah.
Hopefully the anime fans and MLP fans don't find it too...
Yeah, I reckon you give a very sort of balanced argument on it. I mean, as someone who's very much into anime, I've watched this, and I know you come from... obviously don't watch any anime at all, and I think you've done a pretty good job there.
Well, thank you. Just to bear in mind, folks, I didn't bring him on just to, just to get to Caleb to flatter me, but I wanted an official...
He's genuinely done a pretty good job with this. I mean, honestly, I think he should watch anime. There's certainly some shows I think he should watch, but So from what I've seen, this is good. Yeah, I've enjoyed the video.
I'm glad you liked it because it was. I wanted to make sure, of course, I couldn't just do a video of me talking about my minor observations of the anime culture or anime fandom or whatever. I wanted to do a video, but I want to make sure it was fair. I had to make sure that people know that I don't really... this is a video from a perspective that a casual observer of anime.
Yeah, just someone on the outside. I mean, you've been in a pretty good position to make this video being in our Skype calls.
Yeah,
just hearing anime fans bickering
of them, talking all the time about Naruto and how it's crap and all that other stuff. So the main crux of the video was mainly I had to do an awful lot of digging to try to make it work. A lot more research. I had to look up a lot more about them, half of the characters and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because as it is, it's not really on any series. It's just on fan culture in general. So, you've done a good job on that. What the main thing you said from, sort of an outsider's perspective, you sort of done a good job on that. How you're saying, oh, well, whenever you're trying to get into it, you're almost instantly repelled due to everyone saying, all right, no, that sucks. Oh, no, wait, no, it's good. You should watch that. You've got, a million opinions coming at you.
Yeah, that's the main point I wanted to get across. For many casual observers, I suppose... anime is quite intimidating because a lot of people are making lots of recommendations, and at the same time on the other half of the coin you got people saying, no, don't watch that anime, watch this one. No, don't watch that one, watch another one. And I wanted to put that point across, and hopefully it didn't come across as too patronising, was it? But especially
No.
near the end of the first half, anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, to an extent, that sort of thing happens in everything you're trying to get into. But I mean, it is definitely apparent into anime. I mean, I can speak from experience because despite me being this quote unquote anime expert in this little commentary, I've only been into anime 2 or 3 years.
Well, you've got a lot more experience than I have. I wanted to make sure that they have a valid.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I just sort of like the way I got into it is I just started watching Dragon Ball. Obviously, guys, if you subscribe to me, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball. Possibly because it was one of the first ones I watched. But eventually I got into other stuff from there. I took a couple of recommendations from people. I generally tried to go to some of the better sites, like you listed in this video, actually.
Yeah, hopefully I don't want to come across as like a bit of nepotism or favouritism or whatever. But like, I think those were the. I was generally doing a bit of research and looking at like anime for newcomers. I'm still trying to like find the best place to start off with. I'm not trying to say that I hate anime or whatever, because there is a lot of creative stuff, and it's just mainly it's being put off by I'm not trying to say overzealous fans, but I guess.
Yeah, to be honest, that's a fairly legitimate term, actually, sometimes. I mean, the anime community can be fairly good sometimes, but it's a lot of the time still fairly immature people. People have just sort of, like, discovered this new thing, anime. They've only seen a couple of shows, they've gone to YouTube. All sorts of stuff blows up from there, because of this whole community that has sort of appeared on YouTube for anime and everything. So, lots of drama, as people tend to call it, appears.
Another commonly used term on the internet, like drama. It's not just limited to anime; it's practically every fandom on there. I just hope that, because I've only focused on two cultures very briefly, MLP and anime, of course. I could have gone forever and ever and ever, but I wanted to also make sure that usually my vlogs are usually a lot longer than this. They're usually like about 25 or 30 minutes long, but I wanted to try and make a video that wasn't too long, something that like a nice bite-sized video. But again, I'm still not sure how people are going to react to it. Maybe I could have put a little bit more into it, because I did give you an early copy of the script. Was it like about a month ago?
A while ago. He did send me an early copy of the script, and I looked over it. I thought it was okay. I can see it has changed significantly. Well,
yeah, it's gone through about 300 billion rewrites, because it was just I wasn't entirely sure what the best tone was to go for, because I wanted to make the point across that I am criticising some of the flaws, of course, of MLP fandom and the anime fandom, but I didn't want to come across as too, get up on my high horse, as it were.
When you're dealing with two sort of very sort of passionate fandoms like this, you got to be careful where you tread, really, because it can.
That's exactly. Have you had any experience of like in making any of your videos, like people being too aggressive towards you? What's your general experience? Because this is sort of a new sort of.
To be honest, there hasn't been much for me, because I don't do a lot of a lot of my videos aren't really that opinionated. It's mainly things that I bought. Occasionally I do thoughts and series, but for the most part I haven't really had anyone. I mean, I've heard a couple of people say, "Oh, that kind of sucks," and that kind of thing, but nothing genuinely that serious, to be honest. But I mean, I haven't really done anything. I don't want to call this controversial, but I haven't really done anything this sort of debate sort of inducing,
But it's a difficult line to tread, because in my personal experience, like if you've got to be very careful when when it comes to discussing, fan cultures and stuff, and you've got to make sure like it's balanced, but at the same time you've got to put the point across. Otherwise, there's no point in actually doing the video if you want to if you're going to hold back in certain aspects of it. But well, I don't think I was being a bit too. Hopefully, I've come across okay, not too aggressive on that front. But it's I don't know really, because I never know what an audience is going to think about these kind of videos and things. Because generally speaking, hopefully people like them, but you can never know half the time, like, wow, people are going to react to stuff. Because
sometimes you just got to go for it and see what people think.
Because with this one in particular, again, I don't know what people are going to think about it. People might absolutely hate it. I really don't know at this stage. But I guess this commentary is just to explain like how it came to be and how. Why it's laid out and stuff, but it's not perfect. There's still a bunch of stuff that I think, looking back at it now, I could have done a little bit better. But hopefully, the fandoms will, take this video, I guess, with a pinch of salt if people actually take to it.
I mean, I guess if it's received well enough, am I right in saying that maybe you could do more videos of this sort of type?
Yes, I could, but we'll just have to wait and see what people think of it.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like the anime fans and the MLP fans, they could like join forces and like kill these bastards.
Yeah, they'll set aside their differences. Just
a new common enemy. They hate this guy and make videos about him, how he's a bullshitter and all that stuff. Yeah. That comes with the trade, I'm afraid. But
to be honest though, if any sort of, I don't want to say intelligent, but like if you're rationally thinking, you're in the anime or MLP community, you know that there are problems with both of them.
That's what I should have said actually. Not some other people within both fandoms have said I've called this isn't exactly an original idea, like people calling out the flaws of a fan culture, but this is my interpretation from two cultures from two sides of the court. I could have gone into a lot more detail, but again, it's I wanted to make have a video that wasn't too long because but you never know how people are going to react to these sort of things. But hopefully, it's sort of decent, I suppose. Hopefully I did put enough detail in there considering it was 13 or 14 minute video.
Yeah. It was, in the grand scheme of things, what you could talk about, it was a short video. So there are definitely more things you could have touched upon, but for what it is, it's a good sort of overview of things.
Yeah. What sort of things would you like if I went into more detail? What should I have covered just for future reference? What would you have liked to have seen?
Well, it's a sort of big question because there's a lot of things really. Like you could have done, it's going into a little bit, maybe too much detail, a bit of scrutiny. But you could have looked at a couple of individual shows and have a look at some.
Right, yeah.
You could have done that. But obviously there's even more danger then of alienating certain fans of that show.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's just there's a lot of things. I need to sit down for a little bit and think about it. But
again, so you can say that about every video, but but that was the main problem. It was with MLP, of course, it is quite limited compared to the vast amount of stuff of the anime repertoire of stuff I could have covered.
Definitely, yeah.
But that was the main problem of course, because I'm only a casual observer. It wouldn't have been much good for me to really go into much more detail into individual several more individual animes because what the hell would I say? Because it would take a lot longer. I'd have to actually watch a lot of the content because there's card captures.
It would take a long time then.
But I could have done that. I would have done that definitely if I actually remembered a bit more. If my brain was still working properly, which it doesn't do half the time. If I actually had more ingrained memories of Pokemon and card captors and Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff, but 2001, that's a long time ago, 12 years ago now. And,
that worries me sometimes, despite the fact I'm only 16.
Yeah,
16
so when you get to my age, at the age of 21, you'll never remember anything anymore.
Yeah.
But it's I could have done more animes individual on their own basis, but again, it's it extended the length of the video, and I wanted to make sure that it was balanced. MLP balance it against the anime community. Only covered a couple of points, but again, I could always do a sequel. There is room for more flaws of fan culture, but
it doesn't specifically have to be flaws. It could just be about fan culture,
Well, yeah, exactly. Remove the patronising tone somewhat. Hopefully, it wasn't too. Didn't come across as too, when I said the part about think about it, more DVD and Blu-ray box sets. I think I don't know whether was that a bit too far or was that a nice little cheeky stab. I don't know.
It depends really. There are going to be people who probably haven't realised that in the anime community, but I don't think they're going to be the same kind of people watching the video.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Again, I don't know, but because I'm just basing this video off some of the the Skype conversation we have on a regular basis, because practically everybody in the conversation that I talk to regularly talk about anime all the time, and like one of the common complaints is why don't like localization issues and making sure that like we'd never get enough DVD box sets and Blu-ray box sets over here in the UK.
It's certainly more of a problem in the UK than it is in America. Because I mean, even America complain about it sometimes, but I mean, the UK we're in pretty dire straits for the anime side of things. Like.
I think it was a fair point to say, but are you agreeing me in the fact that perhaps anime is, well, the popularity of it at least of anime generally is on decline in the West? Is that a fair thing to say?
I don't know if I'd say it's in decline. I'd say it's sort of hanging at a sort of place where it's not really moving a lot, you know.
So it's gone stagnant, basically.
Yeah,
right?
it's a bit stagnant. I mean, we're getting stuff in. I mean, if anything, I'm hoping it's gonna start rising again, because I mean, you guys, if you watched my videos a couple months back, you'd be pleased to know that I was ecstatic about Dragon Ball Kai coming to UK TV.
That surprised me actually, because you don't see a lot of anime these days in syndication in the UK markets for various...
No. It's pretty much it's Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Occasionally.
Is that still going, by the way, Pokemon? I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, Pokemon's an ongoing series.
That's still going, like 10 years down the line. Crikey.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cause, I mean, it's essentially. I mean, I don't want to get into another topic here, but it's essentially a commercial for everything else Pokemon related.
So it's not I can't remember now, but like you're basically saying like it's changed an awful lot. It's mainly become a marketing vehicle for other stuff.
To be honest, it always was.
Right.
Especially in Japan. I mean, more over here, I reckon the anime got more popularity in Japan. But in Japan, Pokemon started as a series of games. Anime was essentially there to advertise that, and that's still pretty much what it exists for in Japan. And over here, you know, it's essentially that, and people just watch it and kids watch it. And I don't know how much people watch Pokemon anymore. Personally, I don't, because I mean, because it's designed to get kids into it. I mean, not a lot of diversity and like different things happen in the plot. So,
right, yeah, because it's I can't remember. Like Pokemon was, it's still doing the rounds. It's nowhere near as big as it was, but was it back in the day? Of course, back in the late 90s and stuff. But it's still doing the rounds. I'm surprised it's still. Yeah. And I do know that Dragon Ball Z, of course, has always had a massive following, because it's been one of the longest running animes. Yeah. It's of course like with the re-releases of Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is I think basically the gist of, I think it is, I don't know, it's basically like the anime without the filler. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, Dragon Ball Kai Dragon Ball in general, to be fair, never got hugely popular in the UK. I mean, it was very popular in the US, but in the UK, I mean, it aired over here, people liked it, but it didn't quite get to the sort of like almost Pokemon levels of popularity.
Yeah, that was insane. How popular that was. You just could not. Everywhere was Pokemon everywhere. It was crazy.
And it certainly never got to the extent it got to in Japan. Because I mean, like, you never realise this, but Dragon Ball came over here late 90s, early 2000s. But in actual fact, Dragon Ball the manga started in 1984 in Japan.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So it's a lot earlier. So the manga is the comics and stuff. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the comics. Yeah. Just to clarify that.
So this commentary is basically me learning that. Okay, manga is this, that is that. Yeah. Right, yeah, okay, so just for future reference, this is... but yeah, in another thing that was another difficult about making this video, of course, was like sourcing the material. Not in terms of the quality, of course, but like a lot of... you have to be careful with anime clips as well, because, you know, with copyright, like a lot of studios don't like as soon as you post an episode of Naruto on the internet, you almost instantaneously you get flagged and stuff. Have you had any problems with anime?
I'm not generally one to use clips and songs in my videos, so you know, it hasn't happened to me that often. But then I did once make just a little sort of experimentation opening like thing for Dragon Ball, like I'd done myself, and I'd used some music from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it literally as soon as I uploaded it got muted, so I didn't bother to keep it there. I took it down. Right. So, you know, that's pretty much an experience I had. But obviously, it's very hard to get music and clips and stuff on. It's mainly YouTube. It's hard to get it on. If you search around a bit, especially if we want to go into the depths of torrent sites, you can find them there.
Oh, but, yeah, of course, but not that we condone using torrent.
Oh God, no.
We're not going to tell you how to use those, but a simple Google search should, if you are in that way inclined of pirating stuff. I could have done talked about piracy in general and stuff, because that was I did do a talk about piracy, of course, of the MLP and stuff, because that was a major.
Yeah, you touched on it. You touched on it in this video when you said about the cease and desist that happened to that
Yeah,
fighting
yeah,
game.
that was terrible. That was because
Yeah, it's a shame because I mean, I believe I'd heard the name thrown around. I just saw a couple of clips in the video. It looked like it was really coming together
yeah,
there.
it was practically almost finished. I think it reached alpha build, so it was almost ready to go into beta. And so after 2 years of development, solid development, they don't get paid for it or anything.
Yeah,
Hasbro
it's
all
all
of a
just
sudden
fan
knocked
work.
on the door and said, "No, we want you to shut down the project,"
Mm-hmm.
and which was. I thought that was a terrible thing to do. Of course, of course, it's copyrighted material. Of course, it was.
Yeah.
Some argue what it was inevitable, but it was if they were that concerned about like the game infringing on their IP, of course, their one of the most popular IPs, Hasbro.
Yeah.
They should have sent the C&D at the beginning of the
Yeah,
cycle.
not just wait until
No,
it
not
actually
wait
comes
until it
together,
gains serious momentum and then kill it off at the last hurdle.
That's
Something
just
was
horrible,
definitely
yeah.
amiss with that. And I was sort of. I'm still angry about a lot of the MLP fans for not actually saying like no. Well, they most of them sided with Hasbro.
That's a shame.
Which is
Yeah,
a real
but-
shame, and it's hypocritical. Because a lot of most, of course, you can see like these episodes I've used have got watermarks in them. Most people share episodes on a regular basis, and that's how the show in the first place got massive popularity. And then
Yeah.
for these people to say like, fair enough, like it got shut down because of copyright. Hang on, weren't you downloading the show about 2 days ago?
Yeah.
It was. It really pissed me off, especially hang on, but what can you do? It's a
Yeah.
shame, but I did forget to mention that project was they are starting again, I believe, under a different with.
Oh yeah, of course. I'd heard that they're using like different characters. Aren't they?
Yeah, Lauren Faust, of course, is the saviour of that project, but they still have to start again from scratch. So.
Yeah.
But Piracy, I could have done a bit more on the anime front, but I did cover it a little bit at least. So
Yeah.
I did get that point in there. But Piracy is another, especially with anime, of course, is another thing entirely, isn't it?
With anime, which is relatively hard to come by outside the UK. 'Cause I mean, it's one thing getting anime into the UK. It's another thing entirely. Getting into US in the first place, I mean, like there are series I watch which just aren't licensed at all. Literally, the only way you could go about it is the incredibly expensive route of importing DVDs from Japan, learning Japanese, and then watching them, or you could watch them online. And you think of it from a moral standpoint to an extent. I mean, like if a show is readily available, fairly cheap down HMV or whatever, and you sit at home and you decide, right, I'm going to watch this entire thing legally and not buy it, then that's another thing. But when a show hasn't been even licensed outside of Japan, sorry. You obviously and you want to watch it. I mean, I don't see anything wrong in watching it there.
Yeah, because again, that Piracy is another kettle of fish entirely, isn't it? I could with going back to the localization issues and stuff, like a lot, it's a lot easier to get material in America, but in the UK, where it's a niche market to begin with, the anime fandom, I suppose, but it's even smaller in the UK. It's a lot less material going around, and of course, so the only. Is Manga UK the only distributor of?
It's not the only distributor. They're the biggest in the UK, but we've got Kaze UK, which do some series, and we've got actually Kaze might be French. I'm not entirely sure. We've got another distributor coming up, which I believe is just called Anime UK, but they've got a lot of good stuff coming out. They've got Cowboy Bebop coming out on Blu-ray, which I'm incredibly excited about.
Right. Yeah, that's one I'm definitely be interested in looking at first of all. I think you recommended me that too. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's in my top 3 favourite animes at least. It's instantly the one I recommend to like. In fact, I was even watching another video earlier, and completely unrelated, but I was watching Game Grumps, and they actually got to the topic of Cowboy Bebop, and I believe one of them said, "Oh yeah, it's an anime that's not an anime."
Right.
So
right.
It's like if you're not into anime, you can still watch it and come away from say that was a really good show. And I totally agree with that. I even showed my mum an episode of it, and she was like, "That was pretty cool."
Yeah. It's because I did say that it is a very creative industry, and I wanted to make a point that. I'm not bitter in the slightest against any fans of the culture. Just wanted to point out a few problems with it. But yeah, going back to piracy, it was piracy is its own. You can go talk about forever about like why people pirate anime and stuff. But
yeah, and the morals behind it.
yeah,
as well, like
you can argue like both sides of the coin. And with Manga UK, a lot of the problems stem from the fact that like the distributors in like Europe and the UK are quite small, and of course, yeah, Manga UK I believe is only basically a small office, I believe.
Yeah,
so
it is, yeah.
it's very small headquarters. So they can't have a great deal in the coffers to license all the main animes. You know, like, of course, with Dragon Ball Z, that the DVDs are like rarer than hen's teeth these days, aren't they?
Well, Maggie K recently picked that up, which I was excited about. But you know, this is going into yet another topic entirely. But that release of Dragon Ball Z had tons of problems with it. But that was done by Funimation over in America. Maggie K couldn't do anything about it. It was the cheapest option they had to go for. It was like so it was it was nice to get it over here, and I hear the DVDs are selling fairly well, so you know I'm glad about that. But yeah, and they've got One Piece over here now, which if you're an anime fan in the UK you will be delighted to hear. I know I did a massive video on it. Pretty much all of the guys in our group were ecstatic about it. You probably caught some of it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I'm still being the cynic in the fact that I bet that they stopped releasing the rest of it. You know, like a lot of the animes. I bet
they have.
Call
they have
me
done
cynical, but you know, it's nice to see that at least like a good, you know, is it like 90 odd episodes have been released anyway.
Well, if we're talking they've released, but they're planning. They've confirmed 4 sets are going to be released.
Well, yeah, so still got a fair proportion, but hopefully they'll actually complete it, because that's there's nothing worse than having a DVD collection that's incomplete. As a lot.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Maggie UK are usually okay with this kind of thing, because I mean, we got, for example, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Another really good series. They released it on DVD, complete the thing. Blu-ray, I believe they only did the first 1 or 2 parts. And cancelled it,
yeah.
which everyone was really angry about. But on the flip side, earlier this year, I think it was in Christmas, they announced they're going to continue with the Blu-ray side of things.
Right.
Because their Blu-ray manufacturing costs have gone down. So, you know, they're not... So, I mean, I don't want to say One Piece will get cancelled, but if the time comes when One Piece has to be cancelled, we can at least hope maybe Maggie UK will do something like that and, you know, continue releasing it. A later date, maybe when the manufacturing costs go down.
Yeah, that because with Blu-rays. Yeah, I'm just thinking because a lot. Is it true that like generally speaking, anime fans as a whole generally prefer the Blu-rays to DVDs, or is it the other way around?
I think it's really it all depends on personal preference, I suppose. I mean, personally, despite the fact I've got an old CRT in my room, I have got a PS3, so I'm buying Blu-rays.
So you're not really getting the full treatment, are you? Really, on the CRT screen.
You know, I am buying Blu-rays in the hopes that one day I'm going to end up getting an HDTV in my room. But so generally, I usually go for Blu-rays, just because, you know, nicer quality. But generally, people go for both, I reckon. I mean, like a lot of anime these days isn't even on Blu-ray yet. For example, the Dragon Ball Z sets. They're actually just straight rips from Funimation's ones, which started in about 2007.
Right,
and, you know, they haven't been put on Blu-ray. For example, Dragon Ball Z did get a Blu-ray release, a very short-lived one, because it actually got cancelled due to high manufacturing costs. But the reason behind that was his Funimation were doing, the company who licensed Dragon Ball Z in America, were doing their own in-house remastering.
Right,
and it was costing them a load. It looked fantastic, but it was costing them loads, so they only got the first 2 sets out like that. So, you know, as a whole, aside from a lot of newer series, it's actually fairly hard to come by, you know, a lot of classic anime on Blu-ray.
Yeah, so DVD is still quite, you know, you know, that's what I keep saying to people, you know, I wouldn't recommend throwing away your DVD box sets, of course, for a lot of stuff, not just anime and MLP, of course, but a lot of older material from, like, I guess, like the 70s and 80s and 90s, you can only get them on DVD because, you know, you know, like especially with Dragon Ball Z, like where that started. When did the anime start? Was it the late 80s or early 90s?
Well, if we're talking
like like Dragon Ball Z, the one that I would know.
The Dragon Ball Z, the one which is the sequel to Dragon Ball, the original anime. Dragon Ball Z started in Japan late 1989.
So exactly. So, bearing in mind it's from the late 80s, Dragon Ball Z, you know, like they're drawn on several thousands and thousands of like these cells, and to really, you know, to get the HD treatment, they have to basically redo everything, like transfer everything from scratch. So they can't use the. I guess I've Of course, I'm not an expert on remastering and mastering stuff, but I guess the way they originally did it was like for TV broadcasting. Anyway, they once all the cells were done, they put it all on film, transferred it to transmitted on TV, and I guess they'd have to retransfer to a higher definition negative, I suppose, and then that costs an awful lot of money to redo everything. So that DVDs are a lot cheaper. That's why.
It's actually a shame, really, because a lot of Toei Animation, who do the animation of Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, a ton of other shows, they're probably one of the biggest companies in Japan. They back then they didn't take the best care of their assets used to make
the original
shows.
masters, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's like the most notable thing is they don't actually own the original audio master.
Oh, that's a shame.
They literally just threw them out because at the time it was essentially there to advertise the manga. They were like, oh, this is just some kids show, we're not going to need these again. And then of course when it came to do the Dragon Box release, which is we've got this
classic problem, yeah,
and they've got this, and now they've got this like really awesome, expensive, ultimately deluxe sets, and you've still got fairly tinny audio on them because they've
had to use like a
second generation
it's not the original master. They had to make do with what existed, what they had left from a TV broadcast and stuff, which is that's a real shame. That's a classic prop, a lot of the older BBC stuff, especially like an ITV, like the classic. It's only in recent years that companies have just taking archiving more seriously. The original policy was to have the older tapes wiped to cut costs, but once you wipe those masters, they're gone forever. So
as a example of that, I know for a fact there are entire episodes of Doctor Who missing.
Yeah, exactly. So because BBC threw it out.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many episodes of Doctor Who was, but I definitely know there's at least 1 or 2 missing from the.
I think there's quite a lot missing actually. If you go back, from the
late '60s. It's been going a long time, that has. Yeah.
They just have to take to nerds who haven't recorded on their VHS.
And they did recover some from I think some American TV stations had old VHS copies somewhere, and they used those prints. And I don't know how you must have cleaned them up really good, but it's an interesting topic talking about Ark. But again, another thing entirely. It's 3 times as long as the original video. Yeah,
definitely proves there's more material for these sorts of videos, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. But the more with me. I can write and write forever, but you got to draw the line somewhere. You got to think what definitely. Video do you want? Do you want it to be small? Do you want it to be long? And I want to see. Of course, I can always do parts 2 and 3 later on. I've left the door open, of course. So, but the point of these commentaries is just to say that we haven't. I haven't forgotten the stuff. I haven't. There's a lot of stuff that I have considered, but it just didn't have time to make the cut, and I had to. Keep the thing balanced, of course. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, we've started talking for far longer than the actual video.
But it doesn't matter. I don't think I've got anything else to say, unless you've got anything else to add before we wrap this up.
Not particularly. We've had a good, nice little discussion here. We've talked about how the video came to be and everything. So yeah.
So thank you very much, Caleb, for joining me on this commentary, and hopefully you guys out there have enjoyed the commentary. As me and Caleb have enjoyed recording it. So thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.
Bye.